Tonikawa Over the Moon for You, or the manga is called, or the English version is called Fly Me to the Moon. Yeah, this was really good. I think it came out last year. Really wholesome, really quite good. We had quite a good bit of romance anime there, because then we also have Rent a Girlfriend above it. Really good, interesting characters, you know. It wasn't just it was basic, but I thought it was like, how do I describe it? They really did develop kind of like the basic sort of romance thing by, you know, having not every girl is perfect, in the fact that this romance is kind of not real, but it is real in a sense. It was interesting. I would like to see a season 2 of it. Kaguya-sama, I think this is season 2. Yep, Kaguya-sama. I like it. It's fun. Good romance. Yeah. I don't know what to say more about Kaguya-sama. It's Kaguya-sama and everyone loves it. Sailor Moon Eternal movie part 2. I don't know why they split these into part 1 and 2. I know it is split into parts 1 and 2, but I thought both parts were the same. It was basically one movie in a sense. Yeah, it's fine. Third season of Agretsuko. Yeah, love Agretsuko. It's actually one of the better Netflix originals. And speaking of Netflix originals, Beastars. Well, it's not really a Netflix original, it is based off a manga, but yeah, Beastars. I know a lot of people have really massive hype for this, and it is it's more of a thing I want to read the manga of. Haven't watched season 2 yet, but yeah, season 1 was pretty solid. I'd put it in good, you know. No, actually it's 7, it was very good. It was very good. The animation was very different to what I was used to in a lot of anime, but yeah, it was really good anime. I keep saying good, I probably should think of bigger words. It was really amazing, it was a really good anime. Stop saying good. Helpful Fox Senko-san. I keep banging on about Flavour of the Week anime. This was a Flavour of the Week anime, but for some reason this one stuck with me. It was just a different level of wholesome. Like, heals your soul nearly, this one. I have a bit of a soft spot for this anime. It was a lot better than most typical Flavour of the Week animes. Quintessential quintuplets, love it. Who doesn't like quintessential quintuplets? I definitely need to get around to reading the manga. I have got box set 1 on pre-order. Really just solid anime, and it's really good because, you know, 5 different quintuplets, and it's actually one of those rare animes that it seems everyone has a different favourite. I don't see many people overlapping too much. You know, if you ask 5 different people who their favourite quintuplet is, you're probably going to get 5 different answers, which, you know, it's kind of hard with romance anime. You see a lot of these shows where, you know, it's pretty obvious who best girl is, but with quintuplets, it's a bit different. But I have my own favourite. I don't know if I will disclose which one that is, because people will fall out with me in the comments, but I would like to hear who your favourite quintuplet is. If you want to leave that in the comment section, I would appreciate it. Kaguya-sama, I think this is a season 1 or season 2. Is one of them. I just rate them the same. They're both 7s. Both seasons were just as good as the other. Same with Agretsuko. Second season was just as good as the third season, I thought. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. This is season 1 because I haven't watched the second season. Yeah, solid isekai. I think when I first started watching it, I thought, oh god, this is going to be a bit boring. But actually, it develops after about the 4th episode, maybe. It really gets interesting. It's really become its own thing recently. So yeah, if you haven't watched, well, say you haven't watched this isekai, I think everyone's watched this anime. It is a solid one. That's why it's a 7. Grand Blue. Grand Blue was actually an anime I just found on Amazon one day, which is crazy because I never watch Amazon video for anything. Wow, did this take me by surprise? This is so funny. If you haven't watched Grand Blue or read the manga for Grand Blue, you need to. This stuff is so funny. It is. This was like a really good replacement for Konosuba for me, because there was one point watching anime where nothing made me laugh more than Konosuba, and it was really hard to find something as funny. Grand Blue it's just as good. It's obviously it's not isekai, it's different sort of anime, but god, it's just as funny. Such good anime. Kakegurui, or Kakegurui, I don't know how you want to say it. Season 2, yeah, is probably rated the same as season 1. I actually really like Kakegurui. It's one of the first anime I watched. Like I said, I started watching anime through Netflix, and this was one of them on there. Really solid anime. I like animes that are a bit different. You don't get a lot of gambling anime, a lot of poker based anime, so it's very different in that sense. But yeah, I thought it worked really well. Rising of the Shield Hero, like I say, I'm a bit picky with Isekai and I kind of rate them a bit lowly, but Shield Hero is an exception. Shield Hero was a lot darker, it just hit different for some reason. Shield Hero just really just hit all the right notes with me, and it's really weird for me to watch anything that was, you know, not a 12 season, 1 season anime, and it was a 25 episode, you know. It takes a lot. I must have really liked something to watch 25 episodes, is kind of how I see things. But yeah, Shield Hero was great. If you haven't watched it, watch it. You're missing out. Uma Musume, this is the most recent anime that I've finished. This anime had no right being as good as it was. I actually really want to put this up to an 8, but I know when I come back in a few months, and if this was an 8, I'd probably downgrade it to a 7. That's why I've put it at 7 now. For an anime that is not based off any source material, no manga or anything, it's based off a mobile game, and you know how that goes when they make animes based off mobile games. It tends to not go very well. Uma Musume just brings it all. It has high stakes, it has drama, it has everything. Honestly, we have dog girls, we even have cat girls, but have you ever thought of horse girls? Uma Musume, it's a must watch. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's so good. Kakegurui Season 1, yeah, already spoke about it. This is 7 Deadly Sins. I don't know which season though, because I've watched 4 seasons of it. I've watched up to the bad one, I've not watched the bad one yet, with a really bad animation, because I've been put off it really. 7 Deadly Sins is fine, you know. I've put it at very good, so, you know, I like it a fair bit, and I've watched, you know, 4 seasons of it now. It's solid, but, you know, a lot of people say read the manga and all that, but it's quite a long running manga now, so probably not going to happen, but I think it's solid anime. More Gretzko, yeah, same as, I rate it the same as all the other seasons. Personally for me, all the seasons of Gretzko are just as good as the other. Just really good anime. More 7 Deadly Sins, One Punch Man. I've only watched the first season of One Punch Man, yeah, but it's great, you know. Animation on point. I forget who animated this. Was it Mappa? Was it Mappa? I want to say Mappa. Madhouse. I do apologise. I've been watching Tact OP Destiny, which will be on this list in a minute. But yeah, the animation quality is just amazing. Really good. I don't watch a lot of shonen, but this is actually one of the ones I really enjoyed more than most. Real Life was another one of those animes that I kind of just clicked on a whim. I'd not heard anything about it. But wow, did this really bring the feels? It was a surprise. I love these like surprise anime where I just have no expectations going in, and then you click on it and you think, wow, that just blew me away in 13 episodes. Real life basic premise is like, is a guy, I think he just feels like he's ruined his life, and he's given a chance to like look younger and go back to school again, and he just makes all these friends, and it's just one of the most heartwarming, amazing anime you've ever watched. Give it a watch, it's good. Yona of the Dawn was a really good twist. Don't see, it was kind of like, I've noticed, unless I'm just looking in the wrong places, there's not many like ancient history sort of anime, because when they kind of go back to like more old-fashioned ways of like swords and stuff, it always tends to be an isekai, but this is actually more of like a historical anime, and this is really well done. It's obviously romance mixed with action, but I think the romance element is actually done really well here. You know, it doesn't make Yona this kind of like whiny, pretentious kind of, you know, needs to be saved by the man every time. She, you know, she's a really independent, wants to fight for herself, and it's, you know, it's a really inspiring anime, I'm sure, for a lot of young women. Assassination Classroom Season 1, I've only watched Season 1 because I keep having troubles with Funimation trying to watch the second season of it. But yeah, this is super fun. This is one I kind of want to read the manga for more than watch the anime, but yeah, it was a solid anime, really enjoyed it. More 7 Deadly Sins, yeah, it's 7, it's fine. A Akame Kill, I'm sure a lot of people are going to rip into me for this one, because they're like, oh, you rate Sword Art at 6, but you rate A Akame Kill at 7, you know. I just thought the premise was really good, without spoiling it. You know, if you've watched it, you know what the premise is and what goes on. I just thought it did, because it did things differently, I thought it was solid. I wasn't such a massive fan of the ending, personally. I thought it was just kind of you know, average, the ending. But, you know, up to that point, I thought it was a pretty solid show. I can't make a kill. And if you want to rip into me, you can rip into me. And then we've got Jojo Part 3, and this is where people are going to really rip into me, because people love Stardust Crusaders, and so do I. I do like Stardust Crusaders. I like my Jojo a lot. But, you know, like I say, 7 is very good, remember this. 7 is very good. 8 is like, is going to be one of my favourite anime of all time if it's an 8, okay? Stardust Crusaders, I think people forget how boring Stardust Crusaders can be at parts. Not all the way through, don't get me wrong, it's got some of the best, if not the best moments in Jojo Part 3 does, honestly. Some of the parts of Part 3 are just the most memorable, you know, Zawaldo and all that, you know. It's one of probably the most meme-worthies, like just ahead of Part 5, but I think people forget there is quite a lot of episodes in Part 3 that they are just so mind-numbingly boring. But yeah, but it's a 7, it's still Jojo, I still love it. No Game No Life, I'm sure, you know, people have watched No Game No Life, and if you look on any anime subreddit, you'll see that people are crying out for a second season of this. I'm not one of those people, you know, if I got a second season I'd be happy, but I don't think I liked it that much that I'm going to be like, this needs a second season right now. It was, you know, an interesting twist on an isekai anime. It was solid, I liked it. This one I'm going to have to click on because it's got such a long title. My mental choices are completely interfering with my school romantic comedy. That is a mouthful. This shit was funny. This was so funny. Honestly, like, don't get me wrong, it's trashy. It's really, really trashy anime. But it made me laugh so hard. Like, this was just, from like, within the first minute of the show, I was just on the floor dying. It was so funny. If you want a really good laugh, you need to check this anime out. Girls and Panzer the movie, we will get into Girls and Panzer in a minute. Girls and Panzer is a, it's my guilty pleasure anime. Who would have thought Schoolgirls in Tanks would be one of the most entertaining things I've ever watched, and the movie is superb. Non-Nine Biori, it's in the similar vein of Dragon Maid to me, just really wholesome anime, makes you feel good. If you had a really crappy day, you stick this on, this will make you feel a lot better. This one was an awkward one. This is Jojo Part 1, but they put Part 1 and Part 2 together. They put Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency together, which was kind of hard for me because, in my opinion, Part 2 is like an 8 and Part 1 is like a 7, low 7. But because they put it together, I just kind of averaged it out as a 7. But just, you know, if they put them separately, see, a lot of these I would like there to be like a 7.5 or something, because when I put 7s for some of these, there are higher 7s than some of the 7s in here. Like, some of these 7s I respect more than others. You know, I prefer Part 2 over Part 1. Part 2 for me is one of the stronger parts of JoJo, and I prefer it more to Stardust Crusaders. But because they're combined, I've just put it as a 7, because Part 1 is a 7 and Part 2 is an 8. I just kind of averaged it out as a 7, because there's no 7.5. Girls and Panzer I've already spoke about. Love this anime. It's my guilty pleasure. This one is probably, people are going to be surprised to see. Listen to me, girls, I'm your father. This is like, I clicked on this expecting it to just be like wholesome trash. This shit hit hard, like really hard. I swear with like in the first episode, I think it's here in the synopsis, so it's not really a spoiler if it's in the synopsis. This guy, it's like his sister and her husband just die in a plane crash and leave 3 girls orphaned, and you know, instead of letting them go into care, he takes them on himself, and it just hits different. It's emotional, it really is. I was not expecting it. Like when you see this picture, you think it's going to be like, oh, it's just some wholesome, you know, crap. It's going to be like a 5 out of 10 or something like that. Honestly, this is a dark horse. This is a really good anime. Dead Man Wonderland. I've got the manga of this, and I love Dead Man Wonderland. It's a shame that we only got 1 season, and we're probably never going to see a second season of this. Next we have Toradora. I've only watched season 1 of it because they took it off Crunchyroll, I think. Yeah, I was watching it on Crunchyroll, and I luckily started watching it just before they took it off. I managed to finish season 1, but by the time I'd watched season 1, they'd removed it, so sad times. I really did like Toradora. I would have liked to see more of it. Really, really cool anime. Angel Beats. Funny thing about Angel Beats is I dropped it for the longest time because I watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes, and people were like hyping it up, saying, you know, this is like one of the best anime ever. I just couldn't get into it for the first 3 or 4 episodes, so I dropped it for like 6 or 7 months and finally came back to it. And actually when I finished it, that ending really hits different. It does. That ending was really emotional, and yeah, it was well worth it. That's why it's got a 7. Toradora, I'm sure people will smack on me for Toradora, but you know, people think it's basic. For some reason it seemed to just hit a nerve with me. It just seemed really good. I don't know why. It's one of those animes that I can't find the words to say why I like it, because I probably don't even know myself, but for me personally it's just better than the average sort of trash. Now we're getting into Evangelion. There's going to be a lot of that on here. 3.0 you cannot redo. For me, it's personally the weakest of the rebuild movies. I think because just it did so much different. But I think, as much as I've put this as a 7, this doing what it did made 3.0 plus 1.0 just that much better. And now we finally hit another Ghibli film, Ponyo. Ponyo, yeah, it's good. It's very good. In fact, it's 7. It's probably actually one of the first Ghibli film. It's probably the second Ghibli film I ever watched. Yeah, really good. And it's actually a decent English dub. Actually, it's got Liam Neeson in it.